Welcome to all of my friends and bennies. Welcome to all of my friends and bennies. Welcome to all of my friends and bennies. I'm just saying show.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it is Tennille Thomas, but of course, you can call me TT. Thank you so much for joining our programming today because we have an amazing show planned for you today. I have so many things to share with you, but unlike any other day, of course, life have been lifing today. Okay, between doctor's appointments, picking up the kid from school, trying to make sure that all of these videos are up and ready for you guys to see and enjoy because so much has been going on. We had the private dinner with Dame Dash, which you'll see a little bit of that. We also had Leela James's You Thought You Knew hit the airwaves, if you will. It came out for everybody to listen to. You'll see a little bit of the behind the scenes footage today from that. Oh my gosh, it's just been so much going on. We know that Said the Entertainer is also in town, and I didn't get to go to the Beyonce concert because I'm still up here recovering. But all of y'all did, and baby, y'all were looking phenomenal. I gotta just say that. But before we get too far in on the show, y'all know that I am always got my guys with me, but they missing in action too right now. They outside working. I don't know what's going on, but we're gonna keep it pushing, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off with a little bit of weekend recap. I told you that I was inside. I've been inside and I've been really doing well with my recovery because a lot of people were worried that I wasn't going to be able to sit my butt down. But I have been doing an amazing job, okay? Even though the city of Houston decided to turn completely up when it's my turn to have to sit down, okay? So we're going to jump right in here to this weekend recap, and we're going to discuss some of the events that are going to be up and coming. Now, we have talked to you guys about the Poetry Lounge Deadly Pen, okay? It's going to be a whole takeover. It's going to be on Sunday, October the 1st at 7 p.m. Now, I cannot wait to see what these guys have to offer us. This is going to be put on by Seven the Poet, and I cannot wait. It looks like I got one of my fellas with me, and I know that he's going to be happy to discuss these events and talk about how his weekend went, here with the mother-in-law. So I'm going to pop this down real quick. How you doing, Big?
What's going on, Simply Tennille?
Nothing much. Tell everybody how your weekend went before we get too far past the weekend recap.
My weekend was a blessing. I got a chance to stay in my PJs all weekend and watch football. And we did go to a farmer's market in Hempstead, but watched a whole lot of football.
Was football, were you watching football or was football watching you?
It was kind of bad both ways.
Yo, I completely forgot to tell you guys about the farmer's market that we went to in Hempstead. Anthony, do you want to try to pronounce that name for me?
Oh, D-I-Rose. D-I-Rose. D-I-I-O-R-I-O-S.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we took time to, kind of pop out to a farmer's market over the course of the weekend. They had lots of fresh fruit and veggies and all kinds of stuff. So we've had purple hull peas for dinner and everything since then. They were amazing. So I'm really glad that we got a chance to go out there because, I've been trying to recover, and there's nothing like recovery for fresh fruits and vegetables. So we did take me a little stroll right on out there. They had tons and tons of pumpkins. All kinds of stuff was going on there, plates and whatever else. It was not what I expected, though. I thought I was going to this huge farmer's market where, I was going to be doing some shopping. I had my shades on. I had curled my hair. I thought I was cute. And I got out there. And when I say farmer's market, they had chickens for the kids to chase and everything. So if you want to see that video, I'm going to need you to go find me on TikTok, okay? Because there's a whole video of the little outing on TikTok at TikTok TT2 Live, okay? Just go check it out. That's all you need to do. Just go check it out. It was a fun little family outing, and then we pop right back on into the inside of the house. Okay, that part. So I'm going to continue with these upcoming events real quick, Big, and hopefully we catch Tucker before it's time for the sports. Okay. So we were talking about Poetry Lounge Deadly Pen Takeover. Now, make sure that you have that. I know you see $25 at the door. 25, ladies and gentlemen, 25. Also, I want you to remember that Power Your Vision, presented by the Small Business Resource Group from Capstone, which I am a part of, will be presenting our resource fair. Now, everybody who attends that event will walk away with a toolkit to help you start a business in an undeveloped area where there are not a ton of small businesses. Resources including bank names, people that you should reach out to when you're trying to get a loan, when it comes to real estate, all those types of things. All you need to do right now is take a picture of that and then go back later and get that QR code. You can also find the event on Eventbrite. It's a free registration. We just need you guys to come on out so that we can give you guys the good old information that you need to know. Okay. Now, collateral damage, divorcing your dysfunction. Now, later in the show, I'm going to tell you why this right here is very, very special. This event is going to be October the 13th. There's going to be some phenomenal ladies who are going to be speaking, and they're going to tell you how to get your life right just in case you've been contemplating on a change, okay? Just in case you've been contemplating on a change, which I know lots of ladies out there are, and we want you to definitely be safe in every endeavor that you have. But before we go too far on that, I would like to right now take time, since we don't have Tuck on there for the sports. I wanted to take time, and I have Dr. Alissa Jones, who's going to be joining us, and she's going to talk all about that upcoming event. I want her to tell us all about the special guests. You know, Houston has been doing it real big and star-studded, and this event is not going to be any different. So welcome, 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 Miss Alissa R. Jones. Welcome to I'm Just Saying Live.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm gonna tell you what, the energy is amazing. Like,
thank you, girl.
I'm gonna need to have to be one of the co-hosts. I'm going to replace one of these dudes
right
here and,
so we
come up in on y'all's job. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, let's do it.
Listen, but I'm glad to be here. I love what y'all doing. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to talk to all of you today.
Now, I thought it was really important to bring her on because you do something very special. And I'm always talking about finding a niche, finding something that is true to you, presenting it to the people, and making sure that other people are able to uplift themselves in the process. So, Alissa, if you will, please share with everybody what it is you do and why it's so important.
Listen, let me tell you something. It's a serious matter when we talk about domestic violence, but for me, it's actually a personal testimony of mine. And so a lot of times we suffer in silence because when we do share about domestic violence, we're shunned back in because we don't get the support. We don't get the support of the community, and we don't get the support of the people to leave those situations. And so for me to be able to use my testimony and my voice to create a platform for other survivors to share, it empowers the next survivor to let you know that you're not alone.
Right. That's so true. I like to call myself a second chance survivor. Now, personally, in my life, I didn't feel like, I know that there are different levels to things of this nature, which most people may not want to admit. There are levels. There's levels to it. There's different ways that you could abuse a person and things of this nature. But, when it comes to family and things and seeing things growing up, a lot of people fall into that same trap just from seeing things happen. So I made sure that was not going to be a thing that was prevalent in my life. And I want everybody out there to know that you guys can do exactly the same thing. I have men here on this panel, they may not have had anything happen, to them per se personally, but I know that they know of other men who have probably gone through some hardships. And so I feel like that's one of the reasons it was important for you to come on here. We've got guys here. Guys, I would like you guys to respond. If you know anybody who has been in a situation that you felt like they needed to get away from.
No, I didn't.
Wait, I knew that was coming, right? How about lady friends of yours?
Yeah.
Lady friends you have, okay. How about you, Tucker? Oh, Tucker's on mute.
My bad. I'm joining the conversation late. How y'all doing?
Good.
Good.
We're here and we're talking about domestic violence, actually survivor awareness, if you will. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it survivor awareness, because people need to know that there is strength in your story and being able to let other people know that they are not alone. And that's what Alissa does really well. Okay. So have you ever had a guy friend? First, we started off with the question of, have you had a male friend in a situation that you need to leave?
I was, yes. Actually, I just talked to one of my buddies. He was in a similar situation, and his ex, he called me. We were just talking. He called me. He's like, "Man, guess what? My ex just got locked up for." And I was like, "What?" She was like, I was like, domestic violence. I was like, he was like, "Yep,
Wow.
you're right on." And because that's her history, that was her history. And I also had to check one of my friends back in the day about that. About him, jumping on this girl and being physical with her, and we came to blows, and we no longer became, no longer friends. So
I'm going to read this comment real quick. So you've seen it firsthand. It says, my nephew was shot by his baby mama, and his friend was killed by his baby mother. And these kids were all under 25. Glad my nephew is still here.
Wow.
So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you that people are still dealing with this. I know a lot of people want to say that this is an issue from the 70s and they want to say that it's old and that it's removed from them. But tell us about, Alissa, some of your experiences in dealing with people, that are broken and are kind of trying to get past this. Tell us a little bit about how you work through those things with them.
Well, first of all, we're not going to call them broken. But what I will say is that the power in sharing has actually been amazing. And I'll actually share my personal testimony on how I got started in the organization. When I first started sharing my testimony, I had withheld this for about 23 years. And with withholding this, I remember I got up at an event, something similar to mine, and I shared my testimony for the very first time. And when I shared my testimony for the very first time, it was a young lady in the audience. And she came up to me afterwards and she said to me, I was going to commit suicide today. And it was your voice and your testimony that made me understand that I'm not alone and is going to allow me to push to another day. And that's when I knew that this platform was needed, not just for me, but it was bigger than me. And once I understood it was bigger than me, I had to create something to foster God's purpose. And so to foster God's purpose, you have to take on and being that person to say, you know what, I'm going to share my testimony. And it just started with mine. Now I have thousands of testimonies behind me. And so this upcoming event is actually very personal. It's almost like a comeback event for me. When you go through domestic violence, because you are prone to toxicity, right? Okay. We find ourselves getting into another toxic relationship. And so I have been divorced for the last 4 years, and I found myself reliving some of the steps and the things that I had been sharing with my survivors over a decade ago on what to do, safety planning on how to leave. And here I am finding myself practicing what I'm preaching, right? Mm-hmm. And so I stepped away from the organization for about 4 years. And this is a comeback moment for me. And what I learned is, in the decade that I've been doing the work, we always talked about and touched on physical abuse, but we never talked about emotional abuse.
Right.
Because see, in my previous marriage, stuff started off emotional. And then at the end, for me to walk away, it became physical.
Gotcha.
And so this conference is going to touch on emotional abuse, hence the theme, divorcing your dysfunction. Because a lot of times we are in dysfunction and we don't understand it. We don't know it. And we can't figure out why we keep choosing the same Joe that keeps doing the same stuff. And it's because we don't unlearn those toxic behaviors. And the vision came to me because one of my survivors that reached out to me, I hadn't been doing the organization, and she was begging me to bring my events back. And she was begging me, and she said, Alissa, a lot of times people will celebrate you. People will celebrate you for leaving a toxic relationship, but they do not help you unlearn those toxic behaviors to walk into a healthy relationship. And she said, I got into a healthy relationship and it was foreign to me. I was wondering why he wasn't beating me. I was wondering why he wasn't hitting me in my mouth. And you go through those motions, understanding, listen, I got to unlearn those behaviors if I want to walk into a healthy relationship so it doesn't feel unnormal to me.
Right. Because you have to learn how to function in correct steps, because
Right.
a lot of times you allow people to drag you down into situations where you are acting out at a certain point, or if they say one thing and you know something's coming, you've been triggered to already react a certain way. So I completely understand. And you were talking about creating these events in safe places for people to share their stories. When it came about and you decided to do this, and you made it inclusive for everyone, to come and participate, how that process, because I know that there are a lot of people out there who are looking to have events or do things of this nature. How do you keep it a safe space for all?
Well, and that's funny that you asked me that, because I remember doing my second event, and it was called Removing the Mask. And keeping it a safe place, I break the events up in 3 parts.
Okay.
And so with this particular event, Collateral Damage, Divorcing Your Dysfunction, on Friday night, we're having a meet and greet, but we partnered with Carlos Wallace with Soul Caritas that actually does a lot of the Houston improv comedy shows.
Okay.
So him and his wife, Liz Fabulous Wallace, is going to be doing comedy. And we called it the Survivors with Voices Comedy Hour, because what I understand is we don't want to bring people together and it's all sad, right?
Right.
Everybody's crying and everybody's like that. So these different elements that are added is going to be laughter for the soul. So we do that. And then the day conference is where we're going to dig a little bit deep. And with the day conference, we highlight these everyday survivors, right? Everyday survivors that got testimonies. Some of the survivors are sharing their story for the very first time. And so I have a host that's been with me since I started, Dr. Don Paul. And she is really good with pulling and interviewing, because see, that ain't my gift, right? My gift is to get people
You need a moderator.
together.
Next time you need a moderator, you call me, girl. I'm coming.
Listen, that's not my gift. So, we give them their moment, right? Because they feel like they haven't been seen. They feel like they can't be heard. And then so we have the audience, the people that are attending, just like the couple of co-hosts that is on here that's never really dealt with anybody that's been through domestic violence. They're actually learning things. They're actually understanding. And actually, to be honest, we have some men, like I had some men that came up in the event that spoke, that have been victims of domestic violence. And what's funny is a lot of people don't understand that men are victims too. There are women that beat these men up beside their head too, and that are just as toxic and toxic enough to make a man hit them, right? But we don't talk about that. So these are conversations that we're touching. And so what I love about the moment is that my heart is filled with joy when these people are sharing for the first time, and you have that member in the audience that may be thinking about commit suicide, thinking about walking away. And because they heard that story, they're like, you know what, let me go ahead and put a plan in place. Let me go ahead and use some of the resources that Survivors with Voices Foundation offers to actually get to a better place. Because what a lot of people don't understand, and what it was for me, is when I seen this one survivor, and I'll never forget her face, came to me, and it was more so financial abuse. The husband had all the money tied up and was controlling her. But when I looked at her children, right, she's trying to figure out a way to move in and be self-sufficient, financial literacy, and all of that. And I'm looking at her children, because they're looking up at her like, Mommy, help us find a way. And so those is my motivations to do what I do. And not only that, the main and important motivation is because I was in that place.
Right.
I was in that place where I couldn't leave, and I was there for 3 years because I didn't know how I was going to get out. I had changed careers. I was a top earning loan officer and decided to become a flight attendant. Well, flight attendant is what I love to do, but the money ain't there.
Right.
And so he used that against me. And so being able to
Guys, I
understand.
want to hold on one second, Alyssa. I was going to see, guys, do you guys have any questions in regards to this event being fun, inclusive, all of these different things? Or do you have any questions that you'd like to put out there to make people think when it comes to domestic violence?
For me, on domestic violence, like she's stating that sometimes it's women fighting men, men fighting women, vice versa. A lot of times, some people, they don't want to talk about it. They're more, I guess, afraid to come forward or be that person to say, hey, this is what's happening to me, or have someone in their business, as they like to say. But a lot of times, people not trying to be in your business, they just try to make sure you're safe as friends. So how is it for, I guess we would say, how would we go about addressing the matter? How are we to go addressing the
Let
matter
people know that
with
you're
our
open to
friends or
share.
family members? Yes, for his understanding.
Understanding how you can be of assistance.
He wants to be of, he's saying, how can he be of service? How
To
what's
help
the
them.
best way to let people know, hey, I'm here for you without overstepping boundaries?
Showing up.
Mm,
Because see, when we do these events, the lot of issues we have is the support of the people. It's not always financial, right? It's always about just letting that person know, because the average domestic violence survivor does not leave, right?
they go back,
They go
they
back,
go
they
back,
go
and that
back.
makes people, their immediate circle, stop listening.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the average time is 8 times, right? Before they actually say the leave. But one of the things I really found out is financial, because they don't have a means to go anywhere. And that was my situation. And one of my testimonial speakers, Michelle Goodwin Lambert, that is speaking for the very first time, actually got the opportunity to see up and close and personal what I was going through. And she was the one that gave me money to get me an apartment to help me start. And just like every other survivor, I'm complaining about my ex, I'm talking about my ex, but I'm not moving. And I'm not moving because I don't have the money. So
Right.
she was like, well, you know what? Guess what? I'm going to
I
give you the
got
money.
you.
Now
Yes.
what you going to do? Because a lot of times we'll give the survivor the money and they go back, right? But see, this forced me into a situation of understanding and healing, because I had to sit with myself. I had to sit with my decisions, and I had to sit with understanding what was it in me, right? Because you
Right.
got to take your eyes off the abuse. You got to take your eyes off the abuser and understand what is it in me that allowed, right?
Me to get in, to keep
Allowed
being
me
in this
to
place.
accept what I don't deserve.
Okay.
Cause
So
see,
basically,
I tell people all the time, and I said it on the on a interview I had yesterday, and you guys are probably gonna laugh. So don't judge me when I say this. When I first got with my ex, right? The red flags was there. I
Okay.
was at a carnival. You know what I'm saying? But he was fine.
Okay.
The sex was good.
Okay.
And
I
I
love
was
it.
dumb, right? I was dumb. And so here I am. I said I do, right? So I gotta go along with it now because I said I
Yeah,
do.
I've made the decision. I gotta, because they tell us you don't give up. You don't give up.
And that was the church, right? Because biblically, domestic violence isn't a cause for divorce. Only infidelity is, right? So when you're sitting in front of the church and you're sitting in front of the pastor and you're like, but he hitting me upside my head.
Yeah.
That's not a cause for divorce. So they tell you to endure it. They tell you to stay, right? And so, yeah, so like I said, everything was good. And so I did this, I was really good at painting this picture of us being the perfect couple on social media, right? I did this, baby, you could call me an artist because I did very, very good at doing that. But when reality hit and I had to open up and say, listen, he put his hands on me. Here's a restraining order. Like I literally had to pull out receipts to show that I wasn't lying about what I was going through. Because I did so good of painting a picture that he was the perfect husband. I did amazing. Matter of fact, let me pat myself on the back because I did great at doing that.
Yeah, someone is agreeing here, and it's definitely sometimes too about friends and family and their delivery of trying to help. Like she came to you with a solution, it was time to walk away. And then it says, then they tell other family members, now the person no longer opens up because they've already spread the word before you can even tell your own truth.
Ooh,
so
that is facts.
I definitely get it, because you know they're going to talk about you first. Tucker, were you trying to say something as well?
Well, I was just piggybacking off of what she said as far as, allowing certain things. How do you get yourself in those positions? And a lot of people, it's hard sometimes for people in situations to be self-aware and hold themselves accountable. I think that's one of the personal traits we're lacking as a culture. So it does lead into that. So I agree.
Self-accountability, yes.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, I had to be accountable. You know what I mean? Like, even when things, because see, the thing was, when me and my ex got together, we went to middle school together, we went to high school together, so we had a 10-year hiatus and came back together. So one of the mistakes that I had to hold myself accountable for is I did not take time to learn the man he was. See, I was still in love with that high school sweetheart I had, not understanding the man who he was. And so, learning some of the things, I had to go with the flow. But I didn't know alcohol was the issue on the back end, right? And even though I seen alcohol was an issue before I married him, I still married him because I was holding on to who we were in high school to each other. And so I had to hold myself accountable. I had to.
Right.
Because there's no way I'm going to be able to move forward and continue to do what God has called me to do and not hold myself accountable. I can't, because I had been doing this work a decade prior to that with him by my side, right?
Wow.
So now I have to come back and show survivors that, listen, you fall down, but you get back up. I went through a divorce 4 years ago, but guess what? That 4 years took me time where I can be able to come back and pour into you and show you the new healing, to show you the new things that I've been through, and understand that I had to sit with myself. And I was actually just joking with a girlfriend of mine because I'm out dating.
And I have to say this, y'all. You see how uplifted she is. I know that a lot of people, when they are in their situation, they do not feel like it's ever going to be another day where you can smile again. But baby, it's going to come. It will come. You need to do you for you. I don't care if you're male, female. I don't care if it's a child. You know, however it's happening, find a way to fix the situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Live your best life, you will smile again. So let's keep going with this conversation.
Listen, so I'm in the dating scene, all right? And when I talk about being single for 4 years, some of these guys be like looking at me like it's a disease. Like, why you been single so long? Don't nobody want you? But it's crazy to me, because when I look at men and women and it comes to dating, right? Men will hop in a relationship within 1 month, 2 months of leaving somebody, right? And I'm not saying that's not their healing process, so y'all don't judge me and kill me in the comments. But what I am saying is, being in my singleness within 4 years have allowed me to learn me, has allowed me to take accountability for the mistakes that I had in the previous relationships. But it's also allowed me not to attach to anybody out of loneliness or desperation.
A reason that's the wrong one, because that's definitely be considered the wrong reason.
Right. And so when you do that, you're able to see the BS, right, that comes your way, and understand that, when God sends you somebody, you'll be able to discern that because you sat with yourself and you understand how to love you. Because see, if we go back to the what I said before, right, I had to hold myself accountable of why I allowed those things to happen to me. And so now that Alissa is walking in her purpose and understand her self-worth, ain't any man about to get next to me. This is sacred right here. I don't care what I did before.
You're not coming with the right tools.
Yes, it's sacred right now.
All right. So we've talked about uplifting people. We've talked about having it be fun, talking about situations that you've gone through. Alissa is having this amazing event that's going to be coming up. You have quite a few things actually coming up, but we're going to keep talking about this one right here. I ain't going to get all in your business as we was just talking about, but tell them again about the event details, where they can follow you on social media, and how they can purchase their tickets.
So the event is Collateral Damage divorcing your dysfunction. And I just kind of want to highlight why I chose that theme. When I think about my ex, like I said previously, we went to high school together. We grew up together. Our families was around. So when I thought about all the things that we went through and I looked at our whole relationship over 12 years as a whole, we were collateral damage, right? Coming together, trying to build a marriage on toxicity. He had, his mommy issues, and I had my little daddy issues. And so, those issues we never dealt with. And then divorcing your dysfunction, I realized that you really have to unlearn those toxic behaviors. And so my event is October 13th and 14th. Like I said, I really try not to get too commercialized with it, because this is about survivors. And I was laughing because sometimes I'll tell survivors that are everyday survivors, hey, let me put you on. And I was like, man, I almost feel like a little, promoter or whatever, giving people the exposure that they need. I believe with my event, even with what I've been doing, I've been blessed to be able to pay for PR, to be able to pay for the publicity that I do with the conference, because I want to highlight the everyday survivor and give them a voice, and have the community rally around them and say that they're loved, right? Because you never know. I'm always looking for another survivor for the next event for next year. I'm always looking to see ways on how I can make it better. So October 13th and 14th in Houston, Texas, that's where I birthed Survivors with Voices Foundation. That's where we're coming back to after 4 years. And this is a comeback for me. God said it is time to come back and continue to use your voice and continue to walk. And so I'm excited with the survivors that we have. I'm excited with partnering with Soul Caritas with the comedy show. And I'm excited with having LaToya Luckett as the keynote speaker. For her to even be able to even say yes to this is amazing for me.
Yeah, that she was even open and honest enough to say, hey, I've dealt with this, in my lifespan as well, and I want to share my story with the people. So that's amazing. It's hard in business. I talk about business a lot on this show. Just linking up with the right people could do your business so much good, and can get you in front of the right people to be able to continue your message. So applause to that.
Thank you. And we also do an award ceremony, because I feel like survivors should be celebrated. We also have an entity of the organization called Mothers with Voices. And with Mothers with Voices, what we do is we honor mothers that have lost their children to either gun violence, domestic violence. And so I'm excited about that. I'm excited to be able to give these mothers a platform and a voice to share for their children that's not here anymore. And so it's really been God led, and I'm grateful that God has entrusted me with his people, right? And so we're excited about that. If anybody want to follow me on social media, it's Dr. Alissa R Jones, and the same on Instagram. And to purchase your ticket, you can purchase your ticket at VYIWconference.com, and that stands for Voice Your Invisible Wounds. This is Voice Your Invisible Wounds Conference. What I learned is I had to voice my invisible wounds, and I want you to voice your invisible wounds, because what we see when I look at you, I don't know what your story is.
Right.
I don't know what your story is until you use your voice. And so Voice Your Invisible Wounds Conference is a vision that's been around for over a decade. And we're just excited to be able to continue to do what we do, even after 4 years.
Even after 4 years, ladies and gentlemen, I think that this has been amazing. Start to use your voice. If you've been quiet too long, it is time to wake it right up with Dr. Alissa R. Jones. And she's putting on this phenomenal event, October the 13th. We want to see your face in the place. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm just saying.
Thank you for having me.
And all righty.
To all the viewers.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoyed that. Y'all know I'm about to pull my fellas back up to the stage. 1, 2, 3. How did y'all enjoy that? I surprised y'all with
your
that.
invisible wounds. I like that.
I surprised y'all with that, but I am always trying to find fun ways to deal with heavy subjects, ladies and gentlemen. And if you get a comedy show, if you get LaToya Luckett, if you get a room full of beautiful ladies talking about their experiences and things that they have been through that is inclusive of men, women, children, and everything, I just felt like it had everything. Now, Alissa was also on my show a long time ago when I was over at 95.3 Jams. And so I thought it would be a great time. Like she said, this is a comeback. And it can be your comeback too, ladies. If y'all are out there and you're dealing with something, she also gives resources for how to get out of those situations. Okay, that's another reason why this is really, really important if you are involved in something like that. Now, I know that y'all been waiting because there was a lot going on in sports this weekend. So we're going to jump from the ladies to the men's, is okay? So we're about to kick off sports with the fellas. Guys, there were so many topics. I don't know how you whittled it down, but let's go.
Coach Tuck,
What's up, man?
how about them Cowboys?
You
How
know
about
what?
'em?
Why you had to start with that? No, we're going to start with something else. Go to something else.
How about it?
Hey man, hey man, I like the Cowboys. They got a hell of a defensive line. They got two great players on their squad. But I don't know what happened Sunday. It's like, oh my God, where are y'all?
I
Anybody
can
show
tell you
up
what
for the
happened.
game?
I can tell you what happened. Your quarterback and your coach aren't
I'm
seeing
listening.
eye to eye. Your quarterback and your coach aren't seeing eye to eye. That's the first problem. Second problem is they can't score no points in
It's
the
too
red
early
zone.
for them not to be seeing eye to eye.
Yes, it is. This is Mike McCarthy's first time back play calling. The team's still struggling in the red zone. They getting the ball, driving down there, and they kicking field goals. You're not going to win no games in the NFL like that. You got to be able to punch it in.
B
So,
says when the Falcons lost, he can say that.
Well,
Falcons, yeah, we lost. It's all
No, we
right.
talking about the
you
Cowboys.
say what?
Say the
And
Falcons.
Denver
We on
got hit
Cowboys
the
right now. I'm gonna tell you, this is the same reason every year that people say we're jumping on too soon. We're always looking for faith and hope too early because something always happened. And I'm gonna tell you, it looked very, very detrimental to the season. What was going on this weekend? Speaking of other detrimental things that happened, I know we were all looking for Dion and the squad to show up big, right? But I know a lot of people say they saw this coming because they were not a team that was looked at to be doing a titi. So that first game really was, something to put out there. But Tuck, go ahead and say what you got to say about Oregon this weekend.
Well, the Colorado-Oregon game, I kind of seen that coming. I didn't know it was going to be that lopsided, but you could tell in the first three games that Coach Prime don't have the D-line and the offensive line he wants, right? And so that's really the difference. The skilled players are there. The difference is in the line, and it was prevalent. Like you can see it. A team that's elite, a top 10 team versus a team that's trying to get there.
Right.
And that's usually the difference. Even when the big schools play the smaller schools, the difference is really in the lines. Like that's the difference in football. So I kind of seen that coming. It's gonna be another long game this week. Some big old hog models out there in USC they got to deal with. So it's gonna be a tough week. But like Dion said, you better get them now. You better get him now while you can, because when he get about 8-9 more dogs on his team, he's over with.
Because this is just year one, ladies and gentlemen.
So you saying people trying to rag on him for one loss?
Well, no, I think they just got show what they really are. You know what I'm saying? Like the height wasn't substantiated yet. Not yet. Even though he did some surprising things.
He did some surprising things. He definitely shocked the nation with that very first win because they were not expecting for him to even get that. All right, we're gonna keep pushing on to our next subject in sports. Go on, and y'all had a whole list. I'm trying to get to the list over here. Where the list go?
Miami. We
And them
talking about these 70
Broncos.
points for Miami.
Yeah, what be with them Broncos? Talking about the Falcons. Man, please.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, Miami was shining, dancing all over, twerking on a handstand and all of it. Okay,
Right.
twerking on a handstand.
You had
Yep.
second string players.
Uh-oh, big, you went away. What were you saying?
No, I say you got second string players in there scoring touchdowns. I mean, you get the running back, he get what, 2 touchdowns rushing, 2 rushing, 2 receiving touchdowns. You got Tyreek Hill in there, he getting 8 touchdowns, a bunch of yards. How many yards was it a game that they got on the ground? Was it 700 yards, 300 plus? I can't remember, but it was
Whatever
ridiculous.
it was
And they
ridiculous.
set records
Yes,
in
it
this
was. It
game
was a show of
Sunday.
sportsmanship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tucker just shaking his head. He like, yeah,
And they had to call the dog. They had to call the dogs out.
Dog, they were doing the Soul Train line, man, in the end zone, dog. They did that dance, so they did that whole routine. I mean, it was crazy. It was very entertaining for Miami fans and casual football fans. Not so much for Broncos, but you know.
Yeah. So this weekend was definitely one for the books when it came to sporting events. You know, we haven't talked about it yet, but we know that the Texans also, you know, was out here being themselves.
Well, they got their first win.
They were being themselves though. Let's if we want to really talk about the game, we feel like. Do you feel like it could have? There were several missed opportunities. Let me say that. That's all I'm gonna say. But
Well, yeah,
I'm glad they won.
Yeah, I can expect that from a young team with a young quarterback, you know. So, but they're getting their growing pains and they're showing promise. That's kind of what you want. You want to see them getting better, and every week they've been getting better and they've been competing. They've not been out of game. So, yeah.
Very, very true. Now I know, ladies and gentlemen. Oh well, do y'all have any other sports topics that y'all wanted to touch on real quick?
Just the Braves kicking ass, 40-40 player. You know what I'm saying? Get ready for these playoffs. That's all.
Okay,
chop.
Braves. Okay, Braves.
Chop, chop.
You know,
We'll
he excited. He excited about that.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can definitely hear you, and we don't want you saying and acting old on the air. Okay,
I can't hear nobody.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just tuning in, we're on.
My phone is just killing me.
Hold on, man. We're on. I'm just saying live. We did not talk about Taylor Swift.
This is so
which we are not,
embarrassing.
and Travis Kelce. We're not going to do it because I feel like everybody has beat it to death. We have talked a little bit of football, and we also had Miss Alissa. Alissa R talking about her domestic violence awareness summit, ladies and gentlemen, who's going to be hosted by Latoya Luckett. This is going to be right here in Houston on October the 13th. We're going to get into a little bit of news that has to do with competition as well, since we were talking about sports. The actors can go back to work, ladies and gentlemen. They've all been excited. They are not there at a final thing yet, but let's talk about this just for a little bit. The Writers Guild reaches a tentative, this is how they posted it, tentative agreement with studios and streamers. Okay, I'm gonna remove that for just a little bit. Let's talk about the writers. Are they going back to work, Tuck, or no?
Yes, but not. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be. Yeah, they're going to go back to work, but I don't think it's going to be under this current agreement, this preliminary agreement they got. It's some things I think they still want, and some things the studio's still not willing to give. And so they were just like, look, just need to just come back in the door. You know, this was kind of that come back in the door.
Let's talk about it, because we would really like to get this back to work because everybody's losing money here. That's basically what it all boils down to. Here's the other thing. Y'all are asking for them to pay for things and do things that they're not used to doing, and nobody wants to be the first one to bite the bullet, because from then on they will have to continue that. It will have to be written into everyone's contract. So even if they got y'all some replacements, if they agree to it, they're going to have to start adding it to everyone. They don't want to do
Yep.
that. They
No.
don't want to do that.
And
That's
it's kind of hard.
the gist.
It's hard. It's a hard landscape to navigate right now because of how streaming is, right? And you know, you have the traditional mindset of how things used to be, but that doesn't exist in this streaming world where you can get so many things on so many different platforms. And how do those deals work? What are the royalties on those? What are the, you know? And it's so layered to where, like I said, it's gonna be I think later rather than sooner.
Another thing that I think has heavily affected this, people don't even care that y'all not putting new stuff out. They just going and watching other old shows that they never did watch. I went and binge watched the show that we're going to talk about later, which is Yellowstone. They had five seasons before I even got wind of it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like before it even became a big thing. So I binged it the other night. Who do people care anymore because of the streaming fact, because of podcasts, because you can learn everything you need to know somewhere else at this point.
And it's a lot of content you can get. You don't have to get from traditional places. That's the thing. Like you can soak that in from different places. So yeah, it's definitely gonna. It's like I said, it's gonna be a hard landscape to navigate when you talk about billions of dollars in these studios and they're having to fit the bill, but they're looking at it from a business perspective. Hey, where do I get on the back? You know.
I want to also say this. When did we get back into the time of strikes? We've got the writers on strike and we've got the auto workers on strike all at the same time. Like, are we back at that time where people feel like to be heard at the workplace that they need a strike? Like they got to do a whole walkout?
Well, what's happening is inflation is starting to hit people. They're starting to feel it. And so you're starting to be like, okay, well, what can I do within my power? And exercising union rights is definitely one of them. Especially if you got a deal that's expiring with a union and an employer, you know?
So we are also on the verge of a government shutdown. Let's talk about that real quick. Everybody trying not to work. And what really comes into play when it comes to governmental workers, what's going to affect you and I is the fact that several of those people are contract labor, which means that they will not be getting a check when the government goes down. And we're going to find ourselves in another one of these situations where money will need to be dumped into the communities, population, society, if you will. And how do we get around that? Seeing as how we are still in the deficit and we're in election year.
You know, it's just more of that smoke and mirrors, I think. This whole budget is just some smoke and mirrors. Like you said, we got this election coming up. Seems like some shit always happening with the budget or something when there's election year, right? Election year coming up. So, or the economy. The economy always in trouble. It's always, you know, and so these are kind of I'm kind of numb to it, right?
Because there is so much going on. I'm not done yet. And matter of fact, I'm not done yet. Let's also talk about the immigrants coming across the border in droves. Okay, I think last week they were at like 500 and something thousand since the COVID-19 act or whatever it was went down. People have been coming and coming and coming and coming. What do we have to say about this? Should this really be one of the items that's at the forefront when it comes to these presidential debates that we keep having that Trump keeps sitting out of?
Yes. But we already know what Republican stance is, right? The problem is the people that are now in power that are allowing this. What are you going to do about it? And they're obviously not going to do anything because it's working. It's basically and we can do a whole show on this, like this right. A whole deep dive.
We're gonna get it real quick and leave it alone, like we always do.
Yeah. but like it's just look at it like this: if people are complaining about inflation, we got strikes going on, and we got all this and this going on, right? Economy wise, but we're allowing all these people to come in to get work permits, right? They're allowing work permits. So what is that telling you? These people are trying, like the elites are trying to get cheap labor. That's just my opinion. If you're flooding in, allowing people that are looking for work willing to work permit, right?
Yeah. And just
And
so
you
y'all
got
know, because y'all know I love numbers and I like to give y'all the facts because I'm an edutainer, period. I've incorporated Big, I've incorporated Tucker on this. 9,000 were arrested coming through. What was this on Sunday? This is last Sunday. 9,000 people, and they apprehended 7,500 on Saturday. Okay. So let's say roughly, if we had to round, 10,000 people coming across a day on the weekend. And that's just the ones they caught. Mostly right now, they're from Venezuela. Whew. Well, y'all, that's the news. Look, that's the breaks. That's the breaks, as they used to say. It's a lot going on right now. You better pick a side and stick with it. And then once you pick your side, it's probably gonna change the following week. I'm gonna just let you know that it's gonna change where you need. It's gonna change where you need to be aligned the very next week. Now, we were talking about the weekend recap, and one of the things I left out on purpose, but not on purpose, kind of thing. But I make sure I go back and touch on it. Was the Renaissance tour, ladies and gentlemen. Beyonce was in town this weekend, and boy, did we feel the pain. I saw y'all in some outfits that made no sense. I saw the fans popping. Beyonce looked absolutely beautiful. I love the way she's incorporating her daughter into her shows and into the money. Jesus, because I like talking about where the money resides, okay? Is definitely killing. The baby's killing when it comes to getting this money. She out there for it. Renaissance Tour 2024, Houston, Texas, did it real big. The horse, Meg the Stallion. We saw Tiana Taylor. We saw Jay-Z. Slim Thug was there. All of Houston's on. Destiny's Child even showed up. It was crazy this weekend here. You still there, Tuck? B says, y'all seen y'all girl VP Harris with them greens. She ready to bamboozle y'all. Bamboozle y'all.
Bamboozle
I'm good. She said she gonna bamboozle us. Tucker, did you do any of the fandemonium, if you will, when it came to the Beehive and all of the events that were going on around Houston?
No. I'm just leave that at
out to go look at nothing.
I'm not a beehiver.
Okay, I'm glad you're honest.
I was more of a Kelly nigga. I wasn't no Beyonce nigga. I was a Kelly dude.
Okay, gotcha. Kelly Rowland. She on the top of all our lists. Oh God. Somebody said, oh yes, some of these outfits was horrible. The bodies were. Yeah. The body makes all the difference, ladies and gentlemen. Put your waist train on. I know y'all done got away from the waist trainers and the Spanx and all of this. Suck that stuff in. Just suck it in. I need y'all to suck it in and wrap it up, tighten it up, do something. We got to get back to a time where the gym is our friend, because it's a lot going on out there. It's a lot. I saw it. I saw y'all, but I'm not gonna blast y'all. I'm not gonna post the videos of y'all out there in them outfits. But I'm gonna tell you, I saw on social media, y'all doing it, okay? Y'all were doing it. What did Alissa say earlier? We're not gonna call y'all broken. But yay, things was going on.
I'm gonna be quiet.
Things was definitely going on. Okay. Now I wanted to talk about. Okay, so we talked about Beyonce just here briefly. I told you also that I wanted to talk about a show that I watched. I was hoping that Big would be on here. We're gonna add it back up. Yellowstone, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell y'all about this show and all of the different emotions and things that it takes you through watching this. I just clicked on it. I saw cowboy hats and horses. That is my thing. Okay. I don't know how many of y'all know it, but it is. That's my thing. I love a good Western. I thought I was going to see, a Western. This is, a land settlement, development, Indian nation, tribal, whatever. There are so many facets to this. There's mental illness in here. When it comes to the character of Beth, there are so many pieces of this as to why you should watch it. Everybody who sees it finds a way to relate to this story, whether it be the love story, whether it be the broken husband after his wife has passed because he's a widower. There were so many things in this that you could attach yourself to. Tuck, how do you feel about Yellowstone?
Hey, Yellowstone's a great show. I love it. It's one of them ones, like you said, it takes you through all the emotion. Got a little action in there. I'm an action guy.
Got some action.
Got a little action. It has that that patriarchal dad, you know what I'm saying, and trying to make sure his sons have a good succession and all that. So like I said, I like it. I got put onto it around season 3, so like you said, I had to get caught up binge and get caught up on it. So, but hey, I don't want to tell people too much, but it's a lot going on.
It is definitely the show to watch right now. I wanted to say this: they are also selling Yellowstone paraphernalia at the Sam's near you. It is that big a deal right now. I bought a hat today. Look, they have tumblers, they have hoodies for Dutton Ranch. Okay, Dutton Ranch popped out on us. They try to say that ranch, y'all, is the largest in the United States. They found a way, and it's getting you to purchase their gear.
Yes.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I was hoping that, Ben could get back on here just in time, but it doesn't look like he's going to make it. It's time for our affirmation for today. Remember to dream, imagine, but don't forget to take action. Now, I know that there are a lot of us out there who are dreamers, who like to imagine how wonderful life could be if we just did X, Y, and Z. Don't get so caught up in your dreams that you forget to take action. Tucker, tell us about some action that you've taken to get your life moving in the right direction when you felt like you were stagnant.
Man, just, coming from where I came from, Zone 4 Campbell Road, like, you try to make your way out of wherever, your environment. And so for me, it was like, once I made the decision, hey, I don't want to do this no more, it's like, okay, now you line up your actions with what you want. And so that's what it's all about. It's about lining up what you do and your habits to the goals and the outcomes that you want in life.
Very true. I am full agreement. I am one of those people. Now I'm gonna take action. It might not get me where I want when I want, and I've been moved on and forgot about what's going on, and I'm gonna come back to it when I feel like I can propel again. Look, which is also not good. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you need to stay steady the course. And don't always think that just because what you attempted that first time, just because it don't seem like it's working, I promise you people are watching. While you're out there dreaming, while you're out there living big, people are definitely paying attention to the different things that you are doing to get to the next level. A lot of times they copycat it, they reshare it, they do whatever. Find ways to support your friends. Tucker knows this. It don't matter what my friends tell me they're gonna do. I might say, oh, well, I don't know if that's for you, this, that, and the other. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you selling T-shirts, I'm buying T-shirts. If you selling flip-flops, I'm buying a flip-flop. I'm going to do something to support your business. If you want to find a way to support your friends in free ways, reshare their content. Your people are not their people. They have not gotten your people. I don't know how important that is. Just reshare the flyer. Who cares? There's somebody on there that you don't like. Reshare the flyer. Some of us out here trying to do something, and we need you to be able to market us to new people. Talk about us positively in big circles. Sometimes you're around people that you know are influential, and you don't do it. You don't talk positively about those people in front of other people. But for me today, we also have here says, man, I'm doing something daily. I got goals on top of goals. Right. And they don't all have to be in the same set. I know a lot of people back in the day used to say, oh, you can only do this. You need to focus all your energies here. You don't have to be put in no box. That's not how things work nowadays, especially with this AI and everything going on. I want to tell you guys to make sure that you go and check out some interviews that I did this weekend. Y'all know I did the 50th hip hop culture anniversary of entrepreneurship with Dame Dash. It was Marcus Bowers, all of this. Go check out those interviews. These people are talking about nonprofit situations. They're talking about business and how to, turn into the new AI age. Tuck is definitely in computers, so he knows how important it is right now to make the shift right now. Go check those interviews out. But right now, this was not the question that I wanted to ask Dame, but some things kind of went on, a little different than I expected. So it was real last minute, but I got it in there. So I'm going to let y'all check out this little interview real quick. Me and Dame Dash right outside of another business that I frequently support. If y'all want some good food, make sure you go over to the Warwick. It is Black owned. And we were there for dinner. And here we go. Hey, everybody. It is Tennille Thomas here in the building. And y'all know I am everything small business. And I love to get visions powered, okay? And you are a vision powering man. Now, you have been through a lot, okay? A lot when it comes to ups, downs, and business, everything mogul, okay? So what I want to ask you is, because we're talking about Houston, what made your draw to Houston and the community here? What made you want to make their small businesses thrive?
I mean, I want to go into every single town, but Houston is popular. Houston is beautiful, so why wouldn't I? But this show goes on the road,
Right.
We're trying to spread this.
We're doing a tour.
And I'm launching the television network, American New.
Okay.
Teach people how to get
film.
money. Have everything.
We have everything. We have everything going on.
Movies, docu-series. Oh yeah, the movie I think you're showing that I directed called The Prince of Detroit. And that's also on American New as well. That's about entrepreneurship.
I'm going to drop that down for just a second. If you are out there, if you are trying to be seen, if you are trying to get up on a network and Fox Soul didn't work out or whoever didn't work out, American New is a brand new, and I like to give y'all the new. That's why I'm over here educating y'all. If you are a podcaster and all the other things didn't work out, here is your next opportunity. American New is doing movies. They're doing everything. This is Dame Dash's, stars, if you will. There's a whole new station out, whole new channel out. If you want to stream, if you want to do those things, go ahead and reach out right now while it's still fresh. That's my information to you to get on out there while things are fresh and new. Okay. All right. Now, I was going to do my touchy subject, but it looks like I have lost my fellas, and touchy subjects is absolutely no fun with not anybody else's reaction but mine, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to try to wait around for just a little bit. Remember, American New with Dame Dash. He's here in Houston, and he says, why not Houston? I'm going to say, why not you? If he's saying that about this area, you live in this area and or beyond, he's taking it on a tour. They're going out. They're teaching people how to be entrepreneurs in their areas where they live. You need to be the next one. If you haven't figured out what thing is just for you, don't worry about it. Keep pushing. Try to figure out what it is, make your money in the process, and make sure you save up, because there will come a time when there's an opportunity presented to you to make additional money outside of what you have going on. Now, I don't know if you caught that, Tuck, but Dame has American New, and we're going to reach out because we're going to try to get the show on that, okay?
Yep, I heard it.
We just gonna go right around. we're gonna do that, okay? So he says, why not Houston? Houston is definitely a popping city. If you're here, there's avenues and resources for you to be able to use. Like I said, Marcus Bowers from She's Happy Hair. I also talked to Amber Newman, who is over the Boys and Girls Club Brazoria. When it comes to getting a job, she's got a job posted right now. I know a lot of y'all might need to look into some of them kind of things. Some of y'all out there, but it is what it is. Now I'm gonna let Tucker get on to his life, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you have enjoyed the show today. We will be back next Tuesday with I'm Just Saying Live. Remember that you can follow us on social media at IJS Live on Instagram. You'll be able to find out all the information and things that we have going on. We also have our website up, which is I'm Just Saying .live. Okay, Tuck, tell them where they can follow you on social media, and we'll get out of here for today.
At Real Coach Tuck on all platforms,
All
Snapchat,
right,
IG.
that's too easy.
Facebook. Yep, it's too easy. At Real Coach Tuck.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you guys enjoy your week, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.